after, probably about 15, 20 minutes after, you'll be able to log back into the Teams meeting and actually download or release view the briefs. So if you're missing any part of it, if you have any questions after, feel free to go back in and watch that at your convenience. But pleasure to meet you guys all. I'm a retired Navy. I retired, did 24 years, retired out. Feel like I've been years ago. Been in education for about 12 years, basically since the day I got out, went on terminal leave, found a job in education, and I've been doing that ever since. So my goal for you guys is to teach you everything that maybe you thought you knew, but you don't know for sure. And I definitely want to talk to you about benefits, things of that nature, how how the remote system works for us, and hopefully by the time this is over, you guys are going to have a lot of answers that you were contemplating you didn't have the answers for. So I have a couple people on the call with me today as well. I have Becca. Becca's going to be doing a presentation with me a little farther deeper in the slides. I have Mr. Max Rivas. He's in the excuse me, in the chat. So he's going to be answering any chats that you have in the time being. I know that you guys in the orientation brief, they kind of stopped and they were covering things within that brief. Max is going to just help you out the best that he can within that. And then at the very end, we'll open up the session. You can ask questions if you have any more questions to ask. We're also going to provide you with a web link that's going to have a question from years of experience of all the questions you guys can possibly ask me. We put it into a format where you can see it and you guys can go back and look at it after the fact, because I know today is retaining a whole bunch of information and sometimes it's super hard. I also have Arlene from the finance department. She's going to go over our certification process here at CIAT. And a couple things I want to ask just out of courtesy. Keep your mics on mute, please. If at the very end, I'm not going to lock your mics. I'm pretty comfortable to say you guys can follow that direction. And what we'll do is at the very, very end, we'll just raise our hands and we'll blast out some questions. So let me go. Okay, you guys can see my slide. This is military brief. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, let's roll. First and foremost, from one veteran to another, from my veteran team that works with you, that enrolled you into the university, we thank you for your service. I personally thank you for your service. We are extremely military friendly here. The veteran community here is pretty tight. If you do end up traveling to campus for testing, you're going to be in a room with a whole bunch of veterans from all branches of service, and you'd be amazed on who you walk into. We've had times where students served in the desert together, haven't seen each other since, and next thing you know, they walk in the same room, take a test, and there they are, like, oh my God, is that you? And then they, it's an amazing how we all can, the full circle can happen. So we look forward to having you guys here. You have my support. Whatever you need, we're here, definitely here to help you. So today it's about an hour long, so be prepared for that. I would ask that you just kind of hang loose and you listen to what we have to say. Some of it may pertain to you, majority of it will, some of it may not. But if anything, you're going to learn something new. And plus, you're here with a bunch of veterans, and that's what this is all about. So, a couple things we're going to be talking about. A whole lot of things actually is, for one, tuition assistance. Yes, we have people on active duty. We have veterans that are still serving. They're using TA, so I'm going to briefly go over that. I'm going to dive deep into veterans benefits, post 9/11, Montgomery GI Bill. We won't cover a whole bunch of that, but I'll still mention it. We're going to go over VRE, Chapter 35, a benefit that a lot of you may have not known about if you're a disabled veteran. I always like to say, talk about this one because I knew nothing about it when I got out of the Navy. Was never taught about it, never learned anything in my TAP brief. And then I learned about it when I started being an advisor. And now my family, I have 3 members of my family in this program. So that's fantastic. We're going to go over the VA certification process, the education certification process, meaning this is going to be what you have to do monthly. So I'll explain to you how that plays out to let the VA know that you are still in school. We're going to go over the differences between an online student here versus a hybrid student here, and how BAH works within that, MHA. We're going to talk about midterms and final dates, kind of what to expect when you come to campus or what you expect on those particular days, campus requirements, talk a little bit about code of conduct, what we expect from you and what you would expect from us. I'm going to share with you a website that was directly for you guys, meaning if you have any issues at all, you can go into the website link that I'm going to provide to you. It goes to myself, it goes to the leadership here, and we will answer any questions that you have and resolve any issues. And then at the very end, Q&A. Okay. So TA, for those of you on active duty, if there's any in this room, basically just remember that TA is individually classed. So you need to have one for every single course. So years and years ago, I went to school while I was on active duty. Rule of thumb was always, hey, in week 2, request your TA through whatever system you're requesting it through and make it happen around week 2. It gives it the time frame to process. And so you can have the voucher if a voucher's produced. It will, you'll have it in time and you can have it to us the Friday before your course start dates. So for example, for you guys that are starting on Monday, we would have to have that in tomorrow just so you don't show up on Monday and try to log into your portal and realize your classroom is not there because the funding option was denied and we never received it. So it's just you staying on top of that for those of you that apply. If you have any questions at all, reach out to your your advisors. Your advisors will walk you through the process if you haven't done it already. But we get a lot of questions that, hey, if you do one, are all the rest of them automatic? No, they're not, one by one. A little bit about chapter 30, briefly. I don't cover a whole bunch about Rudicell either, but we will probably end up mentioning it. VRE we'll talk about, post 9/11, and then the survivor benefits that I want you guys to share with you guys, and hopefully you'll be able to use it. So a little bit about chapter 30. Those of you that were in quite a while ago, you know what this is. This is one of those $100 a month for 12 months. And then a good portion of you probably never used it. And that was $1,200 you basically just threw away. And then you used your post 9/11, you activated your post 9/11, you relinquished this benefit, and you lost 1,200 bucks. And then the Rudicell came into effect and they said, hey, if you've never used it, why did, you guys deserve that 1,200 bucks or something equivalent? And so if you need benefits or if you plan on using Rudicell maybe in the future, if you qualify for it, it'll be not post 9/11 months, it's Montgomery GI Bill month. So just big misconception on this, a lot of confusion on this. But we do have students that use both the Rudicell benefits or Montgomery GI Bill. We even have some reservists that are using the Montgomery GI Bill reserve with the kicker. So that's still around. That's why I like to mention it. But the majority of you are probably post 9/11 and VRE. Talk a little bit about VRE. So those of you that are VRE approved, that got your PO in, you already know it. You already know this whole process. You've already been through it all. It's a timely process. It could be a very frustrating process, or you can get a VRC, a Veterans Readiness Counselor, that's on top of their A game, and you can get stuff pretty quick. Normally, it takes months, so just be prepared for that. What I always recommend, go to the VA's website. If you think you qualify for it or you want to submit for it, hey, submit for it. They'll tell you if you're denied or if it's approved. The process normally happens. You'll submit. About 30 days later or so, you'll probably get a letter in the mail and possibly a phone call. And you'll have an advisor reach out to you. They want to do a Teams meeting with you or some type of virtual meeting with you, get to know you a little bit, talk to you about what your goals and what your dreams are, and then they'll help you fill out some documentation. And then that process takes a bit to process. Again, it could take 30 days, it could take 6 months. We've seen it all here. But it's one of those opportunities that I want you guys to reach out. If you're using your GI Bill now, let's say you're using your post 9/11 and you are considering using this benefit, VRE, you can always start working on this while you're using your post 9/11. The biggest thing to remember is once you're approved for VRE, they basically turn off your post 9/11. They basically shut it down until your VRE is done. So you can't say, well, and this has happened. Well, hey, I'm using my post 9/11 I'm going to use VRNE because VRNE is approved. And then after all said and done, you get enrolled with VRNE or you change it over, you switch that payment option over, and you decide, nah, take that back. I'm going to go back to post 9/11. It's not that simple. It's a whole process to get it unlocked again. So um, it's definitely an opportunity for you all. Definitely go to the website. VA is the resource, and follow that. So once it's all said and done, we correspond with your counselor, and we take great pride in that. It's something that we realized when we connect with them and we're working with you, we're in it to win it as a team, and they truly appreciate that. Sometimes things are a lot quicker that way. What they do is they go into a system. It's called Tungeons, and that system, they'll upload the approval. We go into Tungeons usually right after that, whenever they say it's there, and we can go in the system and download it, and then that's how we finalize your enrollment. So again, some of you have already been through that. You know what a PO is. Some of you are thinking about contemplating about doing it. Feel free to get started. Um, Things to remember. Very, very important things to remember. So if you've been in college before and you were taking traditional courses at a traditional college, you're going to know that 3 credit courses are 3/4 time. It's not full time, 3/4 time. Here, we do have general ed courses if you're taking a associate's program or a bachelor's program, right? So you're going to have, if you're doing an associate's, you'll have a set of 5 gen ed courses somewhere towards the middle to the end of your program. We don't throw them up front like a lot of schools do. So that probably made a lot of you happy. If you Once that's done, you have those. Just know that your BAH payment, it will be less. Your housing allowance, or your housing allowance will be less. Your actual payments will probably be less. And I like to stress that our IT courses are 4 credit courses, so they are considered full time. You get the full amount for that. But this is a big one. So the VRC that takes care of you, it's a completely different funding source. It's VA, but it's a different department within the VA. So your VRC controls your money, controls your payments for each month of payments. So they verify that you've been going to school, they hit a button, they release the funding, and it goes that way. So not everybody gets paid the same amount. It's not like your standard post 9/11 payment. So I highly recommend, if you are using Chapter 31 to go to school here, that you have a good relationship, good communication with your VRC, for a handful of different reasons. You want to make sure that you qualify for a housing allowance, which most of you guys will, but there's been times that you haven't. Um, you have to maintain that communication. We don't pay you, we certify you at the end after you take your tests or whatever you're doing, but they are the one that pays you, that person, an individual person, as well as the books. We don't have a bookstore here. So what that basically means is we have a third party that we go through, the Amazon, where you can download books, you can rent books, you can do all sorts of things, and it's usually cheaper. But the first class you're probably going to pay out of pocket for, and then after that secondary class on, they already have a list that we provided them, and they are going to reimburse you for the costs of your books. So every time that you buy a book for each particular course, make sure you're reaching out to them, letting them know you have a receipt for the book. They will in turn take that receipt. They will look at the list that we provided them, making sure it's a qualified book for your course, and then they'll reimburse you direct deposit for that book. So I just want you guys to be prepared for that. Sometimes if you have a bookstore, they contact the bookstore, they give them a voucher, and they go through that process. We don't have that yet. So just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. The first course out of pocket, but you will get reimbursed. Online rate, we talk about this. We're going to go a little more deeper into it later. You have 2 different types of students here. We have an online student that is in San Diego, that's in Virginia, that's in New Hampshire, that stay at home and do schoolwork from home the whole time that they're here. That's an online student. Meaning, if you get the housing rate It's going to be the VA standard online housing rate. And then we have what's called a hybrid student, that if you were approved for that, VRNE, you would have had an approval, unless you're in California, which is on automatic, or you're a post 9/11 student, you decided to use it and said, yes, cool, I'm going to come out to San Diego. We have students that travel all over the country: New York, Florida, Midwest, Arizona, Sacramento. They all come in on a given day, and they'll either take their midterm or their finals on campus. And we're going to go a lot more deeper into that here in a minute. That's a different BAH MHA rate. That's considered the San Diego rate if you're actually boots on ground on campus. So there's a difference between the funding amounts, and I'll show you how to find those here shortly. Again, post 9/11, one of the benefits and then what they offer. If you remember the Montgomery GI Bill back in the day, I know me, there was always one of my sailors that would be using the Montgomery that would go to school that just happened to forget. They're driving on a nice new motorcycle, and the next thing you know, they forgot to pay the school their tuition, and then it becomes a big debt, and it's an ugly scenario. Post 9/11 fixed all that. Post 9/11 came in and said, hey, listen, we're going to pay the school directly, so the tuition's covered. We're going to allow you, if you're going to school here full time, which you would be, we're going to give you $1,000 a year in a book stipend. And there's no rhyme or reason, having been a student for years myself, on when that payment's going to hit. It's going to be little increments that are going to hit your direct deposit account to help supplement your book fees for the year, or whatever you're paying out. You don't have to submit it to anybody. It's just an automatic $1,000 a year. Anything after that is paid directly to your direct deposit, meaning nothing that you receive from the VA goes to anybody else except for you. You don't have to worry about paying tuition. You don't have to worry about doing all that. Again, Montgomery, if you get paid for going to school, you got to remember, oh boy, I got to go back and pay the tuition for the school. And that's where a lot of problems became back in the day. But this one, a lot of veterans don't know this one. So that's the only reason why I like to share it, because we do have students that are involved in this program, and it's a huge benefit. School's expensive. Sometimes, you want to, every little bit helps funding wise. Any type of help for education helps. This program, if you qualify for this program, again, go to the VA website, type in chapter 35 and look it up. Basically, if you're a disabled veteran and you qualify for this program, it's an additional 36 months per dependent to go to school. There's no housing allowance. There's no book stipends associated with it. But depending on the amount of courses that your spouse or your dependent takes, you get a certain amount of month for your courses. So, for example, I have 3 children. One of them went to school here. He used this after he used my post 9/11. I gave him my benefits, and he finished a degree here. My 2 other children are going to a local community college, so they use that money. They receive a monthly allotment, fairly inexpensive. They can use that money, save it for their tuition for the next term. So they have a little bit of money to live off of. It's not a huge amount, but again, as a parent, any less money you got to pay out of your own pocket, the better. So you let the kids use it and have something to play with. But excellent, excellent program. I want you guys to take a look at it if it applies to you. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the enrollment certification process. This is where Arlene comes in. Arlene, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Mark.
Awesome. Thank you. It's all you.
Thank you. Hi, guys. I'm going to go over the VA enrollment certification process. First, we have system for reporting. Certifying enrollments are reported through the VA Enrollment Manager system. So students will receive automatic notifications for any changes made to their enrollment records. Number 2, certification details. For each certification, the following details are going to be reported. Course term start and end dates, mode of delivery, so whether you're a resident or online student, and number of credits. Number 3, new starts, first course in program. The certifications are submitted during week 4 following a 14-day attendance check for new enrollments. Eligibility requirement. So to be certified, the student must be passing their first course with a grade of 74% or above as specified in the enrollment disclosure. Number 4, monthly housing allowance. Housing payments are processed and paid by the VA after the first full month following the start of enrollment. Number 5, currently attending students. Certification submission. For students continuing in their program, certifications are submitted before the next term, provided that the student is registered for their next course. For hybrid students only, VA requires reporting of any no-shows to the hybrid exams regardless of the reason, so flight delays, illnesses, things of that nature. This is a zero tolerance policy and may result in a housing debt to the VA. Number 6, exceptions. Certifications are not submitted for leave of absences or holiday breaks.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, what does all that mean? Let me break it down. A couple things that I want to reiterate that are extremely important, and you probably heard this if you attended the orientation brief. One, they're going to certify you during week 4, which is great, but you have to be receiving you have to be at least a 674 grade or above. So if you're in class and you get a 34%, they're not going to certify you until after you complete the course and actually pass the course. So there's a delay. So if you've ever been to school before, you're going to realize your first payment within any organization, any school that you attend, is always delayed. It's got to go through the process. Things have got to happen. But what we ended up doing here for you guys is when you become a consistent student and your grades are where they need to be, we'll certify you earlier for your second class, third class, fourth class, and on. So your payments will come in basically routinely, just like an active duty paycheck. It'll come in spot on, and then when they certify you. But I cannot stress this enough, you guys. Take going to school seriously. If you're walking into week 3 or walking out of week 3 and you're below a 74, I really want you to either call us and let us figure out how we can help you. We want you to be above that. And it's not a hard thing. It takes a little bit of effort, but it's something where it takes you to help yourself to be able to get there. And it sets the path for your whole future moving forward. And I know that they mentioned that in orientation as well, that, hey, listen, students passing their classes, student attending the orientation, students attending the live structured courses, it all plays a factor on how your end result does for your courses. The knowledge of you, everything you're going to do. So use the resources available to you. There are a ton here to allow you to be successful. Most importantly, communication. Communicate with us. Let us know what you need. Don't wait 3 weeks and say, well, back a couple weeks ago. No, call us today if there's a problem today. Thank you, Arlene. Appreciate you. Okay, so this is the one I want to share with you guys. So what'll happen is after Arlene and her crew, after they go ahead and certify you for your class, once it gets to the VA, it's all electronic. So once it gets to the VA and it gets processed, you're going to get notification from the VA that's going to say basically what you see here. It's going to say they're going to want you to verify monthly that you're actually in school. And you would think that if we certify you that you're in school, that would be enough. But nope, the VA wants you, it's giving you the responsibility to match what we're telling them. So here's the way it works. You're going to be given the option. You're going to be contacted by the VA. It might be on a text. It might be a phone call and automated when you pick up. That's going to tell you what to do. Or you'll get a letter in the mail, some type of correspondence you're going to get. Monthly, the way it worked for my son was you'll have the option once you set it up to say, hey, send me a text once a month at the end of each month. And next thing you know, towards the end of the month, you're going to get a text from the VA saying, are you still in school? If yes, press 1. If no, press N or whatever you do. And that will be your verification process and you're done. That just lets the VA know that you're in course, you're in the class, that you're on the same path where you were before, and that you're not unscheduled or anything. Key is this one here. If you don't see something at the end of your I would say probably by the end of your first course, then you can go in. They make it super simple. You can call the VA and certify. Super simple. You can go in and press a couple buttons, put your social in, verify you are who you are, and hit number one. Yes, I'm good. Or you can go in and there's a like a pop up that'll pop up where you can go in and just type in some information like a live chat, and you can do it there. So there's a handful of different ways to verify it. I just want you guys to put it on your calendar to remind yourself at the end of each month that that's something that you need to do. So if you don't do it, chances are it could right here. This is the one you don't want to happen. They'll hold your money until you actually respond back, which you don't want that. Miss Becca.
I was trying to unmute. Sorry, I'm here.
No, all you.
Alrighty, everyone. Hi, my name is Becca. I'm one of the military admissions advisors here. So a few of you guys are my students. So good to see you guys virtually. I'm going to be going over probably what a lot of you guys are wondering about, online versus hybrid, the requirements for hybrid, what it means to come to campus, all the rates, all the details are going to be covered in the next few slides. So hang tight. I know you guys probably have some questions, and I hope that they'll be covered during this. But if you do have any questions, Max is in the chat. You can drop them there. But first thing we're going to go over, Max is going to drop a link in the chat so you can pull up what I'm talking about right now. It's going to be the comparison tool. So this is going to be strictly for online students, this specific slide. So you're going to be receiving a housing allowance as a post 9/11 student here. And that housing allowance rate does vary whether you're an online, fully online, or a hybrid student here with us. So for online students, you can see this right-hand side of the comparison tool when you click that link. And you're going to go down and select that you will not be taking classes in person. This will show you the rate that you'll be receiving for your monthly housing allowance throughout your program. And then for books, it's going to be the same for all students using post 9/11. You're going to be receiving up to $1,000 per academic year. That's going to be paid in increments, kind of like Mark mentioned earlier. It's going to be a stipend that you're going to receive about monthly, with the $1,000 kind of spread out throughout your program, or throughout the year for your program, I should say. And then any questions with anything VA benefits wise, like Mark mentioned, we certify you and everything from there is between you and the VA. So a lot of questions, when are you getting paid? How much am I getting paid? We can't answer that for you. You'll need to call the VA to get that information verified. One thing I always like to mention, because it always comes up, if you call the VA right now, they will not see you in the system as an enrolled student. They will not be able to see that until we certify you in that 4th week. So hang tight. Once you're certified, you can call the VA and get all the details on disbursements, dates, all of that there for you.
Perfect.
And then for hybrid students, books are going to be the exact same. All of the information, you're just going to be receiving a different housing allowance payment each month. So when you do click that link, you'll select that you are taking classes in person, and you'll be able to see that full BAH rate. Just a reminder, that rate is for full-time students. So if you are taking that general education course, that 3-credit course, you'll be receiving 3/4 of that for that specific course. Just one thing to always keep in mind.
One of the things I'll plug in there too, remember it's a day for day when it comes to monthly. So if you see a variance in your payment monthly, if you're at a 28 days a month, you're obviously going to be getting paid a little bit less than a 30-day or 31-day month. So it's something, if you see the variable, that's one of the main reasons why.
Perfect. So we're going to go over everything hybrid here on the next few slides. So now starting June terms, all students have the option to come to campus either for their midterm or their final exam to meet the requirement. So you're going to be required to come to campus once each class, once every term, to receive your full housing allowance for hybrid students. Now, if you come to campus, you sign up for a midterm time slot, then you'll be taking your midterm on campus, you take that final exam at home. If you sign up for a final exam time slot, then you would be taking your midterm at home and your final exam on campus. I really want to emphasize it's one or the other. You're only going to be coming to campus once for every single class. So for midterms, it's always going to take place during week 3 and week 4. And it's going to usually be on a Friday and a Saturday. Now, this one term is special because we have obviously July 4th holiday, and that does fall on a Saturday. So we have shifted the dates a little bit. So it's going to be week 3, June 26th, June 27th. That's a Friday and a Saturday. And then we've shifted the next week 4 dates to be July 1st and 2nd. So that's a Wednesday and a Thursday. And all of this information is going to be on the sign up in your student portal, so you don't have to memorize all of this. But that's just a little bit of a shift that we'll have for this upcoming term because of the holiday going on. So when you can sign up is as early as the first day of class. So first day of class, we will open up the live bookings link where you can go and you can select your date and time. It is first come, first serve. So spots do fill up quick. Weekends obviously are going to fill up the quickest typically. So you want to definitely solidify your spot, definitely for the ones that are traveling, need to buy plane tickets. It will open up that first day of class, and I suggest that you book as soon as possible. And then for no shows, Arlene touched on it, but it is so important. We're probably going to say it 5 more times in this call. If you miss your final exam, you cannot just show up to our campus and expect a seat for another exam. You have to have a booked reservation. So if you miss it or you need to reschedule, you can go back to the bookings and see if there's any available days and times. So it's super important that you don't show up because we won't accommodate you. We'll have to have you send you back. So best thing to do is look online to see if there's any more time slots. If there's no more available time slots, if it's week 5 and it's Friday and there's nothing available for Saturday, you'll be certified as an online student for that term. So it doesn't matter if there is sickness, flight delays, weather, car breaks down. There's literally no what's the word? There's no excuse that the VA will take. It's not our rules, it's going to be the VA requirement. So that's really important to remember about no shows. Now, say June, you miss your final June and you're not able to get another time slot, you cannot miss again for your July class. So if you miss one, you have to show up for your other. No consecutive no shows. You cannot miss 2 in a row. If you do, you will be certified as an online student for the remainder of your whole program. So it's super important that if you do miss one, you don't miss the next. That is something that we will not adjust either. You will be certified as an online student for the rest of your program, and you will not be able to move back to the hybrid, which also means you'll be receiving that online rate for your housing allowance. So super important that you do sign up and you show up when you do sign up for those.
I'll chime in really quick. So again, this is for hybrid students. This is for students that are coming out to campus and ones, either for the midterm or for the final. Either the midterm or the final, not both. Number 2, if you happen to be signed up as a hybrid student and you can't make it here, you can still go on taking your test as an online tester. You can take your test, log into your laptop, take your test. You're just going to be certified as an online student and not the hybrid student for that particular term. What Becca was saying about back to back, if you can't make it in July and then next thing you know you can't make it in August, it's not the right program for you. The program is intentionally, when it was created, was for those that within the San Diego, California region that can get here usually without any issues. And I will tell you this, and I really want you guys to hear me on this. It's 0 exceptions, meaning if you do not have a scheduled appointment, do not board that plane. You're not going to like us much. If you show up on campus, we're going to flip you back around and say, I'm sorry, we can't help you. And you're going to have to take your test either online with your laptop in the parking lot. It's completely redundant. You shouldn't be showing up at all. Number 2, what was I going to say? Number 2 would be make sure. I think what I was just going to say, because I completely lost it. Well, I'll keep going and I'm sure it'll come back up to me. But I know it's one of those things where the no shows. Okay, I was going to tell you this. So I'll give you an example, guys. So yeah, the weather permits, summertime, no problem traveling. You can usually jump on a plane, no problem, get here early, find a way to Uber over to the campus, and you meet the timelines, right? The time requirements. And then becomes I now live in New York and I'm going to fly out to San Diego in January. Weather's a little bit different, a lot more complications to think about. Mother Nature doesn't always, work in our favor. So we've had students that have literally flown halfway through to Dallas. Dallas got laid over. They couldn't get a flight in to meet their timeline. And realistically, they had to get back on a next plane and fly back home. There is zero exceptions to showing up without some type of confirmation. Number two, and I'm sure Becca will cover this here in a minute. We'll talk about opening up your exams, and she'll let her go over that on here in a second. But super, super important. Monday morning, when you have access to your portal, you probably already do now, but when you have access to your class, you can go into your portal. Becca's going to show you what to look for here in a minute. Sometime Monday morning, it may not be 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but it happens. It will open, I promise. You're going to have the availability to go in and book your appointments, book your time slots. Remember that because they go awfully fast. Because everybody wants to come in on a Friday, right? That's one of the things they want to do out in California, San Diego. So be the responsible one. Don't wait till week 2, 3, or 4. Don't wait till you see my email in week 3 saying, "Oh, you still haven't seen you signed up yet," because if you want to come out for your final, it might be full, and then you're going to be taking courses online, your final online, your midterm online, and that's all for naught. So just be responsible with that one. And if you got any questions, feel free. All right, Becca.
Okay. Sorry, I was in the chat.
No problem.
Okay, so we just went over midterm, all of the details with the midterms. Final exams, it's going to be the same exact details that Mark just discussed, that I discussed. These are the dates that you'll see for your upcoming class. It's going to be July 7th through the 11th. Tuesdays through Saturdays are those time slots. So super important, like we said, book that appointment as soon as you get the chance so you can plan your travel. Now, if you schedule an appointment and you go back and you schedule another one, it's going to cancel your first appointment. So it's really important that if you do need to reschedule, you can just go and schedule a new one. It's going to automatically cancel your original one. So don't book a bunch of bookings if you like get nervous. Just book one appointment. That'll be what you have for your program or for that class, and then you'll show up for that time slot. And then, yeah, same thing with no shows. All of that's going to be the same. These are just the dates for that final exam in week 5. Okay, so we're going to go over how to schedule the exam. This is where you'll go on first day of class to schedule that time slot. So you're going to log into your student portal through the website and you have a drop down. It's going to be your on-ground exam sign up. It's important that you click sign up, not sign in. We're not quite taking that exam just yet. So you will do on-ground exam sign up, and then there's going to be a list of all the dates and the times for that exam. So you'll see your week 3 and 4 for midterms, and then you'll also see your week 5 for finals. So it's gonna be a lot of dates and times, and then you'll select the one that works best for you. Once you select that, you put your information in and you sign up and schedule that. That will be your time slot for that next class. That's going to be the same for every single class. So when your July class comes around, first day of class, your July terms will open up too. You'll do this process for every single class.
Okay, good job.
Okay, so I know Mark mentioned it too. I want to emphasize the most important thing for hybrid students is not to open up the exam on your computer. You're going to have it available to you in your student portal and Canvas. It's super important that you don't start that exam. If you open that exam, you will be an online student. Even if you're waiting in the waiting room with us on campus, you open up that exam and you're not taking out your time slot on campus with us, then you'll be certified as an online student. So when you're traveling, if you're on a layover, then you want to just like study or look into it, just do not open that exam because you will be an online student. And I say it because it happens a lot and it's it's disappointing for those students. So that's the most important thing there. But before you show up, we do have a great system for you guys when you guys come to campus. It's extremely important that you show up on time. Like we mentioned, those time slots do fill up. And if you do not show up on time for your time slot, there may not be any additional time slots for you. Therefore, you're certified as an online student for that class. So it's super important to be on time, be professional. We're there to help you guys out. So we have a whole team of student success advisors there for you to help you out. So be patient, be professional with them as we try to get you guys all checked in each for your time slots. You have to show up with an ID. Any type of identification, nothing else. You don't need anything else. We provide the computers for you to take those on campus here with us. In our computer labs, the only thing you'll need is a valid ID, passport, or state ID for that requirement. And then, so once you get there, we'll guide you into our student success advisors. They're going to check you in, get you all set up, and then guide you to the testing rooms where we have all of our computers set up. The VA requires you